Hello Internets, welcome back to the Blade Showcase for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And today's showcase is going to be a very special one. We're going to be looking at Pandoria, or Pandy, as we like to call her. What makes her so special is that she is Zeke's unique blade. As well, she has her own exclusive moveset via the Big Bang Edge. It's a very good moveset for people that want to have high amounts of sustained critical damage at any given time. Very good for attacking and for making your way through the main story. So, before we actually get into the Affinity chart, I just want to have a look at the core chips. Usually I would recommend something along the lines of a Moon Matter chip or a Sunlight chip, just because of their auxiliary effects, but the Bigger Bang or the Tachyon chip is going to be my most recommended core chip for this blade. This is mainly due to the fact that it has the additional effect of increasing critical damage by 25%. You'll notice that the majority of her specials actually have increased critical damage, and this 25% adds into that, so I highly recommend it in comparison to having a higher critical rate. So, business as usual, let's look at the Affinity chart. There is her level 1 special, and it's a very useful one, Lightning Force. It's very good because it increases damage to the machines, including the Sovereigns that you'll find in the World Tree, as well as the Artifices. That's right, even Artifice Ophion gets bonus damage from Pandoria's specials, and we're going to be playing around a little bit with this effect in today's demonstration. There's also her level 2 and 3 combos, the specials that I mentioned earlier when looking at the Bigger Bang Edge. This is going to be increased critical damage, and you'll actually be able to make both use of both of these effects through a level 4 combo. Of course, with the higher rank, the more damage it will do, so feel free to play around with that one. It's actually not that difficult to build a Thunder Doom due to her passive. Her unique passives are really good, and one that really sets her apart in comparison to all the other blades is Quickest Purple. What makes Quickest Purple so special is when you play as Zeke, you'll notice that his arts have some weird, laggy animations to them. There's a lot of waiting in between, but if you have a pouch item and you're at max affinity, you're going to find that your arts are going to be fully recharged by the time you finish using another one. It's extremely useful, and it's very fun. It adds to a very rhythmic, unique playstyle, and that's what makes Pandoria a standout in comparison to all the other attackers. So yeah, if you have a pouch item that increases art recharge per second, then I highly recommend having max affinity as you're doing that as well. There's also Thunder Blast, 100% chance of dealing a guard annulling attack. This essentially gives you a free auto balancer. It's a very, very good passive, so this means that you can hit people with a big sword and not have to worry about it being deflective, and that would also help you build up your charges thanks to Quickest Purple. As well, to synergize with that is Sudden Spark. Sudden Spark increases auto attack speed, and obviously this is just a very good, useful thing to have. Again, the whole thing about Pandoria, what makes her so special, is the rhythm that comes with it. You're constantly using arts in a constant stream of attacks and cancel, and finally capping it off with your specials. It's very, very good, and I cannot wait to see how we can do it in the demonstration. So finally, the last thing I want to look at is the Aux cores. Currently, I'm going to be focusing mainly on damage. This is going to be indoor attack up 5 because the fight we'll be fighting against is indoors. As well, Machine Hunter because I want to have more bonus damage from my level 1 special when we start spamming it. There's also critical up. Now, it would help to have more critical rates, and having a Moon Matter chip would have been kind of nice, but again, that extra 25% critical damage is too sweet to pass up, so we're going to try to patch it up as best as we can with this Aux core. And that pretty much is the gist of it. In terms of Zeke himself, there's going to be his accessories, Optical Headband to increase the critical damage even further, as well as the Omega Drive, which fills the party gauge for each critical hit delivered. You'll actually notice that in the moveset, one particular one that I really enjoy is Overload Thunder Beam! Sorry, couldn't resist. Basically, increase damage to the machines even more, so that kind of synergizes well with the level 1 special. As well, you can also have multiple hits and critical hits on that, so you're going to be filling up your meters as quickly as possible. There's also Stratospheric Thunder. Again, it's a launch. What makes it really, really nice is the fact that, As you have that launch, you can have someone on your team that's a smash, if you like. He's one of the few launchers in the game, so I recommend making good use of that one. It's also his quickest art if you want to quickly cancel into something or cancel into a special. So I recommend having like the ending of your combos before doing the special being this attack. And of course, dynamic spark sword, pretty basic stuff, high damage, great damage from the front. Really don't leave home without it. And finally, there is going to be the pouch items. Pouch items, fairly important. Personally, I would like to have anything that increases special damage. Currently going to be using Adam's Love and War, just due to the fact that we're going to be dealing with affinity loss in this next fight. As well, I would like to have a better Blades art effect. Also, Plumage Peach Jelly, again, recharges arts by 0.3 each second, and also giving myself some HP recovery. Even though Zeke has the highest base HP in comparison to all the other standard drivers, it still would be useful just to keep him alive to make sure that we can keep that affinity high for our quickest purple. And that pretty much does it. So I'm going to go ahead and head over to the demonstration. Alright, so here we are at the World Tree. We're going to be fighting against Mark 7 Arik. This is a relatively harmless boss in the comparison to all the other super bosses, mainly due to the fact that his only real threat is the ads that he constantly summons. Thankfully, because we are using Pandoria, she has quite a few AoEs, particularly the Overload Thunderbeam, so if I were to angle myself properly, I should be able to hit both of these enemies at the same time for bonus damage. So again, we're going to be cancelling out most of our auto attacks. And just due to the fact that quickest purple will eventually come into play here, we're going to try to get as many let's see, specials as we can. And how about we just go ahead and do a level 1 special? How about that? See how much critical damage we can. Here we go, bonus damage. It's a lot of damage, yikes. And we should be able to basically get a special for every cancel that we do. It's just that this guy moves around a lot. Okay, it would take 2 specials. We are, no, not quite in front. What counts as the front of this enemy is a little bit strict in comparison to these giant robots here. You'll actually see that I'll be like sort of in front of him but slightly to his left, and I'll still be able to line it up so that I can hit the boss and him at the same time. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go for another attack. Level 1 special. We could just do level 4 combos and we'll get a lot of party gauge build up like that, but I'm not too fussy about it. Okay, so here we go. Gonna cancel another Overload Thunderbeam and get both. Unfortunately got interrupted part way through. And, do you know what? I actually believe... Yeah, once the restriction is lifted, I will be able to use Boreas, unless Nia switches out at the last second. That's cool. Okay, so do you know what? We're going to go ahead and do a special. Because of the way that I've angled it, I should be able to hit the 2 level 50 enemies with this attack. And off we go. Yeah, so I was able to hit them both a little bit. Won't be enough to kill, but that's okay. We're gonna have Dromark here. Do you know what I should have done? I should have switched to Boreas. That way I'd be able to finish off with a, what's it called? Finish off with the Electro Firestorm. But that's okay. Honestly, it's not that much damage that we're missing out on. Okay, so we've killed one of the level 54 guys. Oh, never mind. Okay, we're going to get the... This is going to be a large AoE attack. I guess Nia just switched to the last second, which is nice. I think what the AI does, the reason why the AI switched out is because they need to get a heal as soon as possible. But that's going to be that guy down, and how about we do another Overload Thunderbeam? So one of the challenges about this fight is that it will lower my affinity, meaning I will not be able to make as much use out of quickest purple. But that being said though, it shouldn't be that difficult. We should be able to at least get full combos out. So start off with Thunderbeam, continue with a Dynamic Spark Sword, cancel at the last hit for the Stratospheric Thunder. Like, I swear, if this guy's in Super Smash Bros., his up B would be the Stratospheric Thunder. Okay. We have to kind of change our attention to these guys. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do this level 4 combo, and that should be enough to build up the party gauge to max, and then we can go ahead and do another full chain attack. Look at how much damage that is, yikes. Really, really cool. Just a really fun... She's just a really fun blade, this Pandoria. All of her specials are quite strong due to the fact that it's all about that critical damage. Here we go. So that's 1 hit and 2 hits. And use Boreas for this one. This is also a critical damage increase as well for this particular special. And Bridget's going to be next. One of the things I enjoy about this encounter as well is that you kind of get a glimpse at how this party, or how this particular blade, would work in a day-to-day scenario where you're just fighting against regular enemies while also fighting against the boss. So here we go, Dynamic Thunderbeam, Overload Thunderbeam. And this is going to be bonus damage. Yeah, why not? Go into a Flame Bolt. And yeah, because we're at full Affinity, we already have all of our arts back. So again, let this Thunderbeam happen. If you angle yourself properly, you will be able to hit multiple people. And I think, well, not that he was alive to tell a tale, but we were actually in the correct position to get bonus damage from the Dynamic Spark Sword. Speaking of Dynamic Spark Sword, it's already back from cooldown. That's nice. So really, we're just cycling between both arts. I'm not even going to bother with Stratospheric Thunder. We're going to go straight into another Overload Thunderbeam, and then once again into the Dynamic Spark Sword. How about we build ourselves a level 4 combo? I think that would be very enjoyable for all of us. There we go. Give ourselves some invincibility, and we're off to the races. Oh my goodness, I love these characters so much. Like, just design-wise and like writing-wise, they're both really, really fun. Really, like they really surprised me, threw a bit of a curveball at this character, Zeke and Pandoria, in terms of how much I didn't realize I would enjoy them nearly as much as I did, and I hope people feel the same, story-wise. But enough about story, we're basically going for the overkill. Remember, for people that are seeing these videos for the first time, if you overkill an enemy, you have a better chance at obtaining loot from them. Particularly from this Mark 7 Arik, he has a chance of dropping the Sunlight chips, which is a very, very useful core chip overall, so be sure to keep that in mind. Speaking of which, we got a Sunlight chip. Lucky. But yeah, that's basically it though. We also get the Auto Balancer, which would be the same effect that Zeke already gets from Pandoria. So, yeah. So that basically does it for today's showcase. Pandoria is just a really good damage dealer overall, and if you guys enjoy having like Monster Hunter style weapons, seriously, doesn't it look like the Sigmund? Like, if you want to have a giant sword, but then feel the weight of a very powerful weapon, then Pandoria is definitely a blade that you'll want to look into. Really, really fun. If you want to like get max trust, you'll actually, I think she'll have the highest auto attack damage in the game, probably. So anyways, guys, thanks very, very much for joining me. This was a fun showcase. I really enjoy using this blade a lot, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.